Hi YouTube! Today we're going to try to recreate this multi-family birdhouse. This was given to me by a good friend. He asked if I could replicate the exact same thing. It's a 8-family birdhouse. It's seen better days, that's for sure. It looks like it's made primarily of pine, and it looks like it has some cedar shingles on top here. Essentially what I'm going to do, I don't have any plans here, so I'm pretty much just going to reverse engineer it, and hopefully we can have a pretty good facsimile. I do have some scrap cedar lying around, so I'm going to try and build most of this with cedar. As you can imagine, you want a cedar type wood when it's exposed to the elements. For the bottom piece I am going to use some pine. I'm going to polyurethane that, but for the most part it's going to be cedar. So first step is going to be to disassemble it and then cut the various pieces to length. Okay, we'll get started now. What I want you to do is we want to just trace this out. Think you could do that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Put it. Put it. Okay. Now,
You cut it.
we sure do. Okay, now that we have the base cut to length, I think the next step is we're going to take these lattice pieces. They just go in and out of a dado cut in the sides of these posts here. These are actually a little complicated. This is one piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my radial arm saw. I'm going to put a dado blade on there. And this looks like it's about a 1/4 of an inch width. The kerf that I'm going to want to cut into this. So I'm going to use the radial arm saw. I'm going to make my cuts, and I'm going to flip it over and make diagonal cuts again. So hopefully we'll have something similar to this. Okay, next step, now that we have the lattice pieces complete, the next step, I think I'm going to make these ledges. These ledges are for the birds to land on before they go into their home. Now, there's nothing to this ledge here, right? It's a 2x5 piece of cedar, basically, but underneath you have a dado, and that is to accommodate your lattice piece. So we have to make a dado, and then we have to cut out this 2x5 piece. Okay. Okay, so I have these two pieces glued together, and the lattice piece fits nicely in the dado that we cut. And it's going to replace this right here. It looks pretty good, looks pretty decent. And I think the next thing I have to do is start to work on these columns. These columns are kind of involved. Let me see if I can show you here. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut a 45 on top on both sides. This is a 1x1. It's going to be a 1x1 square piece of cedar that's almost 9 inches long. I'm going to have to cut a 45, two 45s right here. And then I'm going to have to go ahead and square it off right here on this side, and again on the other side right here. And then also there's two dados on the ends here and on the ends here. There's two dados. So there's a lot going on this one little column. There's 8 of them. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that now. The first step is just to cut the 1x1 by 9 pieces of cedar. Okay. Okay, so as I mentioned before, these columns have a lot going on with them. Take a look at the angles on this column. It's not the easiest cut. In addition, you have dados on both sides, top and bottom. This is my attempt. I think it came out all right. I think I got the math right. And the next step is for me to put the dados in, and we're going to use the router table for that. Okay, next up, we're going to take this header. It's a decorative piece, and what I've done is I have 8 blanks here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this out. Alright, I'm going to trace this out, and turns out that this whole bit, this one happens to be 2 5/8. It looks like it's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and take these 8 blanks and go over to my drill press and press these out. Okay. Okay, so we just glued the outer shell, and while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and disassemble the house portion of the birdhouse. We're going to take measurements on the roof and on the sides, cut those pieces of wood to length, and then we'll start putting those together. Okay, so I have 4 blanks here. These are going to be the 4 pieces that make up the bracket on the bottom to accommodate a 4x4 post. And what I've done is I've traced out the depth of this cut right here and here. And I fitted my radial arm saw with a dado blade to make this process a heck of a lot faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my blank in here. I have a stop here. I'm going to make my cut, and then I'm just going to move my blank over to the right, coming up against this stop here. So this should go relatively quickly. Okay, I think we have enough here to start putting this birdhouse together. We're going to start with the dividers that I talked to you about, made out of plywood. So instead of having a 1 family with 8 entrances, we're going to have 8 family home. Okay, here we go. Okay, hey guys, I think we're done. I think it looks pretty decent. At least I think it looks decent without having plans. I will say I spent a lot more hours on this than I anticipated. All told, I think I'm 30, maybe 35 hours into this project. Something like this, I'm not a woodworking professional. I don't make my living from woodworking. And some of you out there are saying, well, that's obvious. But in all seriousness, though, something like this, I don't think you could sell. Or at least I don't think I could sell, just because of all the hours that went into it. I mean, there aren't a lot of people out there willing to spend, hundreds of dollars on a birdhouse, which is what you'd have to charge to recoup your time investment. But with that said, I mean, this was a pretty technical build for me. These columns, 3 or 4 different angles with dados on the columns as well. The lattice pieces, these were not easy. The ledges, everything had to fit together with very, very small tolerances, as in most woodworking projects. It's just that this took a lot more hours than I anticipated. Again, with that being said, though, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thoroughly enjoyed the build. I learned some things, and it was a lot of fun. And guys, like always, if you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. And we'll see you next time. Okay, take care, guys.